Don't park your spirit. Find the path beyond harmony.
We are so powerful as beings. Nothing can tell you your path except for you. Once you start on this path, you can't turn around. If you believe it, things are going to work for you because every choice you make affects your life. Wherever you go, there you are.
Hi there, welcome back. Familiar face sitting with me? Absolutely. We had so many people fall in love with her story that we've asked Elena Mexia back, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what you do, your healing. And I know I recently had something you do called the Map of the Soul. It's mind-blowing. So Elena Mexia, take it away. Talk about what you do.
Thank you everybody for listening and watching. So the Map of the Soul is a help for a person to follow a little map, a little help for understanding exactly what kind of energy, what kind of frequencies, what kind of lessons, what kind of healing you need to proceed in your present time. So it's a map that can show you in a way how you can understand your path, your present path, to have a better life. But it's not only, as happiness and well-being and stuff like that. Is from the point of view of consciousness. So who am I? What am I supposed to do? Why are things happening to me this way with this kind of people in this situation, in this environment? What do I have to learn from these situations? So what's behind all of what's happening? And actually it's bringing you the knowledge and the wisdom that you need in this present moment of your life to have a better life, health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual. So actually it's a whole of consciousness of why things happen to you that way, but also how to get the best evolutionary line and the best version of who you are. So to match that best version and best evolutionary line of your life, you need a certain type of frequencies, and that frequency I just give it to you as energy. So I actually work very, very, very detailed information that only belongs to you.
And boy, do you ever. I mean, she gave this to me and I haven't been able to print it out yet because I'm here at the cabin where I don't have a printer. But the Map of the Soul, it's like, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm working on, and this is what I need to focus on. I mean, everything made so much sense to me. It was like somebody just laid out for me. It's like, this is what you need to do. This is the course you're on. And it was beautiful. I mean, I absolutely love it. And then with that, then I also got a meditation customized for me, which was amazing because I did that meditation. I went for a walk. I came back. I had a huge revelation. And then also you also give the light code, which is another thing to focus on, which is the screensaver on my computer right now until I can print it out. So yes, it is very powerful stuff. I highly recommend. I know the Map of the Soul, that is one session somebody can do with you, but you have all kinds of things that you do to help people. I know one of my friends is seeing you right now and having a lot of healing. So yeah, if you want to go deeper into the different things that you do, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, well, actually everything is based on the Map of the Soul. I call my method evolutionary processes, because everything in life is a process, and it takes to your own evolution, actually, to the getting consciousness of your life, of who you are. And actually the maps the little map, it depends what you get depending on your consciousness, on the level of consciousness that you have. So it's not the same for everybody, also because we all have different paths, different situations, different choices to make. So you can go deeper and deeper and deeper, of course. So we can do just a map to see where you are. Actually, if we go deeper and deeper, we can see the whole map of your life. So the different cycles, evolutionary cycles of the different stages of your life, you know, like it's like little small lives that you have in one life. And actually some lessons, evolutionary lessons or spiritual patterns, lessons that you do during your whole life that repeat in different consciousness levels. I can show you that. I can show you what happened. I can show you where some energy got distorted. So that's why you have a big blockade, or something happened in your life that is a big void. So we can go in lots and lots and lots and lots of details. We open that up and we can heal that. So to do that kind of process that is really, really detailed, you need to really focus on wanting to heal, understand yourself, and wanting to know who you are. And that takes time. That is a trip. In fact, I call it, you know, the trip to the core of your soul. And it's 4 different modules that work in different aspects. So the first one is just to work on your past. So the first and most important thing is we identify ourselves with what we've done, our job. If we are a mom, if whatever, you know, you identify with your past or with the good things of your life. You know, I got a degree, I'm famous, I'm this and that. Okay, you're not your past, not your good things and your bad things. Sorry.
Nope.
You're just not that. You need your past to learn, but not to carry on, you know, that baggage that is really, really heavy sometimes. And when we keep on, you know, in this loop of our past, is really difficult to evolve, is really difficult to go on. And actually all the experiences that we need are very good. Even the negative ones are very good to understand, to learn, to integrate wisdom, but not to carry with us. So the first module is actually to take away all this baggage, is to take away all this heavy stuff, heavy imprints, to understand why we've done things, to understand how to resolve those imprints, those programming patterns, belief system that we carry, you know, from our families, how we learned in school, how we were taught at home, in our countries. You know, we all have a history that actually, it's really heavy, and we identify ourselves with things that actually are not important, actually is not our life. We are not that. So the first module just goes deep into this, and the more you eliminate these imprints and these distortions of energy, the lighter you become. The second one goes deeper, and it goes into past lives that are not past life, but anyway, past lives, and trauma, and very, very, very deep hereditary patterns, programming, trauma. We bring in our genes some information from our family tree that, of course, we can change, we can heal, and we can learn from that. We can honor our past, our ancestors, and we can change some memories. Usually we also inherit illnesses and things that we can change. Nothing in our genetics is there forever, and we can also change that. So we are going to work on how to deal with our past lives that sometimes interfere in the present one. Usually not very good when you want to heal that, right?
Right.
But to learn from that, learn from our past lives, or trauma, or things that we bring into this one. And sometimes you don't even know why things happen to you, and come from a very, very deep and unknown memory. So we also look to the shadow, okay? Things that are invisible to us, things that we don't even know that they are. There are things that are hidden. So it's like this module is for the hidden information, which is very, very difficult, that if you're not into a healing session with somebody that works on that, it's very difficult that comes out easy.
I couldn't
So the
imagine it
third
would
one,
come out. Yeah. Wow.
yeah, no,
That's
it's very
powerful.
difficult because you really have to dig, like that.
I
And
have a
usually are
friend.
things that really hurt.
I have a friend, former friend, who, it was so weird. We would go on a ride, and if we came up to a bridge, sweat would just be pouring out. She'd be like, she could not drive over a bridge without having a complete panic attack. And I just immediately thought, you were in a car and the bridge collapsed. And I mean, that was the first thing that came to me. But we are no longer connected. But that, it's like she had some trauma that had to do with going over bridges that she had no recollection in this lifetime at all. I mean, and that has to be from past life.
Yeah,
You think so?
sometimes we get some wisdom, knowledge, memories, remembrance, that we don't know where it comes from, and usually is memories that we have from other aspects of our souls, our lives, that we call.
Right.
Not everybody believes in that, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Sooner or later the time will come. So it's not a problem. You can heal that too. Usually when we heal these kind of things, we are opening to other dimensions of our soul. So that's the third module. The third module, actually, we are so light after these two modules. So we feel so free that we can go and fly to other dimensions of our soul. So we go and pick up some fragmented piece of our soul that are somewhere in the space and time, that when it broke, actually that little fragment of our soul is just waiting to come back to us and integrate into our wholeness, right? So in this third part is really beautiful, because you start understanding parts of yourself that are pure light, that need to be healed with love, embracing your, who you are, embracing a part of you that you didn't know you lost somewhere. So when we have this yearning in our soul about, I need to feel complete, we are yearning a part of ourselves that was broken sometime. When we have broken heart, or even deeper, our soul is fragmented when we have very, very painful stories, and situations like abuse, or killing people, or war. There are some tragic events in our lives that in that moment part of us breaks down, and that part of innocence just boom needs to fly away, needs to be protected. So when we are ready, we can go and bring this down and bring it in and integrate it. And we start feeling complete. We start feeling lighter. We start feeling lovable. We start understanding life from another point of view and more of a wholeness, you know? So when we are in that period, we also understand that we are not a role. We are not a physical body. We're not a job. We're not things. So we start working on being more of a soul, being more aspects of a divine aspect of God. We start thinking, feeling, knowing, being aware that we're more than a physical body, that we're more than this life, that life cannot be like this. So we have like a little crisis, a little moment, a strange moment where our ego dies, where our body, in a way, starts healing in a way that is painful sometimes, because your body dies too and starts renewing, repairing memories. So you start having a strange change in your ego and in your body, and it's like you are reborn, because everything in your life starts to change so much that you have a reborn, a rebirth. And it is called like that, is the death of the ego and the rebirth to a new life. And the new life is actually the perspective or the way of understanding life and the perception that you have with life. So actually healing is a matter of understanding, is a matter of having choices and deciding what to do or what not to do. So at this point here in this third module, you start understanding that we are living in a society, in a history, in a world that it is not exactly what we've been told, that we have more power to change things, that we've been told that you cannot do that. You're going to die because you're going to get old. But actually, that's a programming.
Yeah.
You're not going to die because you're 80. You can go on until 300, but there are some programming, some patterns that are so deep in our subconscious that for us it's normal that we're going to die soon. This is going to happen because the society, the collective unconscious brings so much information that you accept that your life actually goes in mechanic. So when you understand, when you have this death of the ego, the death of this programming and understanding that you're nothing like that, and it doesn't have to work like that, your life starts from a very beginning, because you have to build your own values, your own
beliefs.
system. Yeah, your belief system. You have to understand why people is like that, going mechanic, when happiness is something different, when you can change just with your mind certain parameters and your own way of things happening to you. So is the law of attraction, manifestation, that you have the power to do that. But mostly everybody is programmed not to see the power that we have inside as sacred beings. We are sacred beings, we're light beings inside a body, but we're still are sacred beings.
My sister is 5 years older than I am. And it is so comical because she's at the age where she's like, this is when everybody complains, like, oh, first of all, you start hunching over, you get osteoporosis, you got all these things going wrong with your body, you got high cholesterol, you got high blood, all this stuff. And everybody I know, it's like they expect these things to happen. they anticipate them. And it's like, really, I haven't had even the slightest cold since 2017 because I decided I am not this body. I am spirit living through this body, and I've never been healthier. But it's just, if we decide that everybody does this, we think we have to do it. It's no, it's an option, and
Yeah.
we're choosing it. It's like, why would we want to age and allow ourselves to become decrepit? And no, it's like, I'm going to be like
Mhm.
playing soccer at 105, It's like what I want to do. It's a choice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a choice, but inside our DNA, there's lots of programming, and we have lots of genes that are turned off. You can turn it on with your own consciousness, but sometimes it's very difficult to turn them on because we don't even know we have that capacity.
Exactly.
So actually, module 4 is to start entering into a high consciousness level to understand things that are actually impossible to think that we have that capacity, because our understanding of consciousness doesn't go that wide, because we don't think we are God. We don't have that a sparkle of energy that comes from the divine. And actually, there are so many things that we need to discover that is really, really difficult to accept that is true. And it's very difficult to accept that most of the things that are outside in the real life are not true, that are all, a theater,
All the
theater
world's a
thing. I come
stage.
from theater, so
Yep.
I see that so many things in theater you believe are true, but actually it's very difficult to understand. This is a hologram, and things are there so you can believe that it's the real thing, but actually it's very difficult not to understand that that is not the real thing. But what happens that we don't know what the real thing is, because from here we don't have that perspective, we don't have that focus, and we don't know what's behind that layer, that matrix.
Right.
So when we don't know, we don't understand, because we don't know, we don't have that information. Things can happen, but you don't see them. So there can be things in front of you, but your understanding, your knowledge is not that elevated, is not that high, is not that wise to understand what is there. So things can be invisible for you when they're not. So module 4 actually goes far beyond death. We live death because we are going through a veil of programming that brings down your holy sacred dream for this life, for this aspect. So when you have a yearning in your soul, that something that you want, a dream, but usually, of course, our dreams are impossible. Of course, the dreams, sacred dreams, are not, I want to be a famous soccer player or a famous actor. Those are not sacred dreams. Sacred dreams are much different. It has to do with self-realization and with becoming somebody that can help others. That's a sacred dream. A person that is into service, that can change the world, that even a little small place,
Every little bit.
sacred. Yeah, that's the point of view of very high consciousness person is, I want to change the world for the highest good of everybody.
Not
So
having to do with
there you can tell,
stuff.
yeah, there you can tell if the person is evolved in a very high level consciousness, because all that you want is to change the world in different ways. There's many people that do it by doing courses, by writing books, by
doing what we're doing right here. You and I
yeah,
are both doing it.
podcasts, by doing therapy, by you know, doing things, engineers, you know, there's a lot of people that want to change the world in the different points of views, in doing different things, you know, scientists, artists, it doesn't matter. The point is I have the dream that the world is different, that the world is for everybody, that in the world everybody is healthy, everybody is happy, everybody's free. So you start thinking into this sacred dream that's for everybody. So the fourth module actually brings through your sacred dream. For example, could be, you know, I want to be a very good therapist, and I want to do things that people understand, and that's a sacred dream. Actually, I tell you, from my point of view, when I was doing theater, my sacred dream was I want to have a company, my company of theater, and do, you know, give work to the writers, the composers, blah 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 blah. Yeah. And then at one point I was already studying for being a therapist, and one of the questions of one of my masters was, what's your we were working on belief system limitations. So for example, I cannot do this because I don't deserve it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they ask, what's your dream? And I said, I don't have a dream. Why? Everybody has a dream. I don't have a dream. I used to have that dream, you know, about having my my company, but I don't care anymore about the company, because I think it's a bit difficult to have a company because of the bureaucracy and because blah blah blah. You know, there's so many things that you just decide not to have a company.
Right,
With
exactly.
musicians and you know, orchestras, and then I said, well, okay, I don't have a, well, I kept so many years without a dream. I didn't have a dream because I was saying, okay, I work, I have a house. Well, I never bought a house. I don't have a house. It's not I'm not like I know people that buy houses like this,
right?
You know? I didn't buy a house yet. I don't have a car yet. I don't have things.
Yeah.
But all I wanted to know as a dream is I just want to know. I mean, my dream is have wisdom. And then at one point, you know, starting with the shamans and studying more, the same question came through. What's your dream? And I said, I don't have a dream, you know. What's my dream? So, you know, I was writing limitations, and then I came out with my dream. And actually it's true. And I have it written in my window. There you go. It says, mi sueño sagrado es realizarme haciéndome feliz, which means my sacred dream is doing things that make me, that, well, self-realization is doing things for me, for self-realization that make me happy. And I said, yeah. So studying is one, investigating is another one, doing so many things. Yeah, because all of those things, I'm so happy when I do my tales. I'm so happy when I investigate, when I create. I'm curious. So every time that this curiosity is bringing me new information, wisdom and stuff like that, I'm happy. So actually I realized that my dream wasn't about having things, or wasn't about doing things, or having a center, or having, because I already have a place where I do things. So that's a dream, and that dream is it's of course in service for others,
Mhm.
and that makes you so happy.
Yep.
So this trip that I do in the 4 different modules, actually through the maps, because the maps actually is giving you consciousness, and consciousness is giving you a level, always going through layers of awareness, so you can understand your power, your yeah, your awareness on I can do things. I accept that some realities are limited, but not the way. If we think in a different way, we can change that. So actually, is a path to accept that we were limited in one point of our lives, that we were told so many things, that we were taught so many other things, and that life is actually quite different, and that your power is not outside, is within. And there are so many ways of cutting you off from the connection with source. So the map is always focusing to connect yourself, your power, to source, back to source, and bring source to your life. Feel yourself as source, as an aspect of source, because I'm not saying that you are God, and of course, no, I'm saying that you are an aspect. You have the energy, you have the power of source, of this intelligence, to create in this body, in this aspect, in this planet, a better life, but with the wisdom that you are acquiring by doing things, by experimenting. So every time I tell to those who are doing the map, life is the wisdom that you acquire through your own experience. So the more you experience, the more you experiment, the more connection you're going to have through your experience, through your path, through your map, through your process with source. And the more you're going to understand, because limitations are going to start to be broken, and more space you're going to acquire. The more space you gain, the more potential you gain. The more potential you gain, the more information you acquire inside your DNA. The perception changes, but your DNA starts activating new genes. So humans become very powerful with that knowledge. And the more you understand consciousness, you are aware that consciousness becomes bigger and bigger, expands into the universe, the more you understand that we're all together, that we're all one, that the universe, in the universe, there are other beings, that we are expanding, developing the human race, that the planet is also, having an evolutionary process, and that we need to get all together, that we need to understand to each other, love each other, and that we need to bring down the veils of ignorance.
Oh, we're
So
surrounded. We're surrounded.
yeah, we're surrounded of ignorance and everything that is limiting us to evolve. We are going into this mechanic way of life that is, with the well-being. I have a car, I have a job. That's a way of disconnecting people. The well-being, and being all the time getting your attention on politics, sports, whatever, and when things big things are happening, for example, COVID, and things are happening behind that veil. So when big things like this happen, in a way, it's an opportunity to look within, look inside, and get in touch with this power that we have within. And that's a matter of frequencies too. Frequencies are information. So the maps bring you exactly what's the frequency that you need to focus on in this present moment of your life. Of course, they change, but they always take you to go higher and higher and higher and higher in this awareness of consciousness and what's happening, how it's happening, accepting, that things are not exactly as you were told or as you believed, that you have to change that. And you need this little time to accept and doubt, and then, go on and verify that's true, or in your present moment, that is a truth. And you start going, getting more space and more space and more space, and that is wisdom, knowledge, and that is perception, the perception of our reality. So those are the maps.
What is overwhelming for me is the marriage that is no longer for me. So my husband and I got back together after I'd moved out for a year. And during that year, while I was gone, I was given guidance that I needed to tell him we needed to go on a backpacking trip, because that was our love. We felt, we just love being in the mountains together. So I told him that I'm like, but I don't want to go backpacking. I don't like backpacking. Let's do some day trips. So he agreed. And it was so crazy because on these very few, I think we did 5 or 6 day trips hiking during that summer. It was like I felt connected to him in a way I have not felt connected, even like when we first met, which I was like, wow. So I could not wait to move back into the house with him. I moved back in. My daughter came home for her spring break, and plus she was having voluntary surgery. 2 days later, we were in a lockdown for COVID. So I knew the universe brought me back there. First of all, I thought I was back with my husband, but as soon as I got back to the house, the man that I'd left, it's like literally he's like this. And I've told him, I'm like, you chose your phone over us. And I recently saw a show, I think it's called The Social Experiment or something. And it was talking about people like him. It's like with all the programming now for phones, it's like they know how to feed him every single article that he's going to click on next and next. It's like people like him that will not walk away from this, but that's what you see everywhere you look. So we are becoming fewer and farther between. It's like to get to those people who want to set this down and go within. It's like, that's where it's like I had to leave the city that I lived in, the entire neighborhood. It was in this big populated area by Seattle. And it's like I had to get away from the population because it's like everybody walks around and they're all in these comas. But so the people who come to you, I'm assuming that they have some spark, some interest in like in letting go of something like this and opening up to the potential that you can provide to them. I mean, they're probably coming at all different levels. You can only do so much, I would imagine, for each person.
Yeah, people come from the different levels. Well, I have a bit of everybody, of all kind of people. When people don't know anything about the maps, as soon as they come into the room, they feel there's soming different in this room.
Oh, I would imagine the energy there's got to be crazy too. Yeah, I love her room.
Where am I? Usually there's people, that just want their Reiki session, for blockades and problems they have. So I just tell them, I can tell that if I start talking about these things, I'm just gonna waste my time. But there's people that when they feel that they have confidence with you, they like to come here and talk. There's lots of people that like to come here to talk and then just to have it clean it. And then, little by little, you start talking about God, you start talking about programming, you start talking about blockades, strange blockades, you start talking about things that really, do that exist? And yeah,
wow,
that exists. And then, you just little by little start giving information that makes a change in their lives when you're aware. and they want to change that. They start asking, why is this happening to me? Why other people this and that? I don't know, things.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about that everything is energy, and that you can transform some parts of energy into a higher level energy, it's kind of like physics, molecules. I mean, you just don't going like this and like that. Energy works different. Energy
Yeah.
transmutes when
Yeah.
you have the consciousness. So actually, if I knew that so many other things could be done, maybe my healing would be different. But in the moment that I discovered that many things could be done, because my consciousness started to raise, things started to happen here when I explained it. So actually, in the healing, I can know many things. I can be a very high being from another higher dimension and come here and say, okay, I can do this and that. But if I don't believe it, nothing's going to change.
Exactly.
If I doubt about what is going to happen, it's not really going to happen. A little bit of the healing is going to happen because the energy is going to change. But 80% of the healing comes from the level of consciousness of the people. So when people come here that don't really know anything and want their healing session, I start talking little by little and explaining how things can change, how things are different if you are aware of little things, little by little. So some start doing the maps, just the map, and little by little we start by healing imprints. That's the beginning, healing the imprints, healing fragmented soul, healing little things. And little by little, they start understanding that there is a path. And then there's other people that come here and say, okay, I want to know. You teach me. And those are the ones I like.
Yes.
People that really want to transform their lives, and they're really focused on changing their lives by healing. They want to know why, when, how, what's gonna happen after. How do I change it? Where does it come from? Is this DNA? Is this a pattern? Is this a belief? Where is the, they want to know the detail. So those ones are actually the patients that I have, that thanks also to them, I could work on very detailed things, that my maps started to get bigger and bigger, because they come with unresolved problems that really are, from a very, very long time ago, and they probably had other therapies. They went by through lots of things, and still the problem is there. So for me, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
And I love challenges. I love the unresolved, because for me it's I have to think. I have to go where I don't know things. So I have to study. I have to work. So most of the time I'm working in my extra time, which is not much, to study, to find out things, to so sometimes I'm doing courses that don't really have anything to do with me, but that probably have some information that I need to know. It's an aspect of myself. And of course I start finding out other dimensions, other things, that the problem is in another dimension, but really strange, and you get into trouble because you start getting to know things that you just, what is this? So there are all types of patients, but my focusing is, the more people come here to do the maps, the better it is, because you get wisdom, you get awareness, and that's actually what's going to help to change the world, because
Yes.
it's just not your own life.
No.
It's how you perceive it, is how you talk about things to people. How, I mean, it's your own example of living and of knowing things that can change really the world. So the more we are, the more we're going to change the perception of the world. And when you change the perception of the world is going to be again the Garden of Eden, you know?
Yeah. Yep.